What is going on a Sunday afternoon? I know it's a little different, but there was couple of things that happened in the NFL over the last couple of days. And anytime that there is kind of like a breaking news, something stunning or anything like that, let me fix this real quick. Okay. And I know I'm in my wife beater, and I'm sorry about that, but um, two situations, and we'll get to those in a second. I just want to say thank you to everybody to like and subscribe. I picked up a couple of subscribers. One of them are YouTubers. Name's Ernie Schefter. He does a lot of football talk, so go ahead and like and subscribe to him. I did. He's liked and subscribed to this channel, so good to see all that. Um, Two things that happened, and I want to get to the Kareem Hunt situation first because I think the second topic kind of hits more to home. The second topic being Green Bay fired Mike McCarthy, and I'm just, as a Packer fan, I just want to give you kind of a personal uh, opinion about how I feel about that. But the Kareem Hunt situation that happened on Friday, as you may have heard, he was released by the team. He had an altercation with a woman in a motel lobby area back in February. The video got released by TMZ Sports on Friday. He was been on the commissioner exempt list. Now, that being the commissioner exempt list, the commissioner has to put you on that list. You cannot practice. You can't do anything with the team. So anything like working out and all that stuff has to be done on your own. And it's a good thing for teams that have this list because if you have a 53-man roster, practice squad players and everything, that person will take up the room. With this exempt list, you can add another player, without effectively taking up a roster spot. Case happened with Reuben Foster, the linebacker for San Francisco, being cut after an altercation down in Tampa before the Bucks game. He was picked up by the Redskins. Tomorrow afternoon will be the tall tale sign of if the former Chiefs running back will be picked up, claimed off waivers. A lot of people are saying that he may not. This leaves a big hole in the Kansas City side of things. Just looking at the football perspective of stuff. This leaves a big hole for the Chiefs. They need a running back now. Early reports are, according to Mike Florio on NBC, is that C.J. Anderson will work out with the Chiefs tomorrow and probably will be signed, and he will be the primary running back along with Spencer Ware moving forward. Spencer Ware didn't get a lot of reps this week in practice, and you can tell the Chiefs in their game against the Raiders earlier today were a little bit affected by this, just the distraction of everything. So you hear the Sunday night game going on in the background. I'm sorry about this. It's the Chargers and the Steelers. So we're not making any picks. We're not making any predictions, but a couple of things have happened over the last couple of days, and I wanted to get to that. We will talk on Tuesday about the college football playoffs, a couple of bowl games that are good. We'll do all that on the show, but this is a special edition of the Carl Show. That's what it's going to be titled, and we are talking about Kareem Hunt right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So getting back to the Kareem Hunt side of things, who knows what will happen going forward. He did lie to the team and the coaches about what happened, and I think one of the things is if you're in this situation, this is what just said on NBC Sports with Tony Dungy and Football Night in America, is that when you look at a player and he's in that situation, he's all about giving second chances. But in this situation, he lied to coaches about what happened, kicks the girl on the ground, gets into an altercation, regardless of whether she called him the N-word or not. I'm not saying this is a race thing, but she knew what to do to push his buttons. So I think in that did something and anything. And another thing you got to look out for is, and I'm not saying this happens, but a lot of people know that you're a big star, a lot of money. They want to separate you from that fame so they can get their big score. So, also, just brought to mind that, we'll get to this in a second. Kareem Hunt is the bottom line moving forward. Kareem Hunt is not a part of the NFL. He has been on the exempt list. Who knows what happens with this? Ray Rice, obviously not back in the NFL from his altercation with his girlfriend or fiance a few years ago. I think a lot of players, when they're young like this, they need to be smart in these situations, learn to walk away. Obviously, we don't know the full details about what happened, but he did lie to his coaches and players about it. The NFL didn't actually talk to him about this, so as details come out, more and more information will come out. But as it looks from right now, we'll see what happens. But right now, Kareem Hunt is a free agent, so we'll see. Once he clears waivers, all 32 teams from top to bottom have to see if they want to reject it. It goes through whoever the first team that gets a crack at is the worst team in the league record-wise, and it goes through all 32 teams. Once those are cleared, he's available to be picked up by anybody in the NFL free agent-wise. So we'll see what happens. Another thing, too, and this was just brought to mind yesterday, we lost our 41st president of the United States, George H.W. Bush, a great man and a great American leader. And he was captain of the Yale baseball team, obviously, our president, vice president under Ronald Reagan, father of George W. Bush, the 43rd president of the United States. So, hearts and thoughts and prayers are out to the Bush family at this time. And I never had any personal connections or never seen him before, but he being in Texas and stuff, he was a great man. I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. He was always doing stuff with the Clintons out of office, just doing a lot of functions and fundraisers, and was very active up until he passed away. So George H.W. Bush, dead at the age of 95 yesterday. Now, moving forward to what happened about an hour and a half ago, the Green Bay Packers fired head coach Mike McCarthy. This was probably rumored to be expected at the end of the season, but this happened right after the game. Didn't get reported until probably about, I think it was, I'm going to say 6:30, 6:45 tonight. And with that being said, Joe Philbin will take over as head coach. Remember, he was the Miami coach, was the offensive coordinator for Green Bay under their Super Bowl run. So the final 4 games of the season, he will take the helm. The thought process moving forward is Green Bay immediately will begin their due search as head coach. And the things have been shaky. So maybe last year, they go 7-9. Rodgers gets knocked out for the season against Minnesota. He does come back for that game against Carolina, but then effectively after that, they lose that game. They get eliminated from the playoffs, and he was placed on IR. The relationship has been rocky all season. A lot of, if you think back to it, that Washington game, that Minnesota game, he hits Kirk Cousins, and that was an interception that would have ended the game. That extended the drive that led to overtime and eventually led to the tie. People are saying the Washington game, Washington was up 31-17. They won that game. That play doesn't really affect anything as far as I'm concerned, as far as wins and losses, how the outcome would have been. Yeah, it would have made Washington punt the ball, but we could sit here and say what could have happened, what may have happened. I don't think it would have determined the outcome of the game, but the St. Louis game, or the LA game, and then the missed field goals against Detroit, these things are a lot of adding up. And I'm not going to make excuses for the football team. These are professional athletes that play a sport. I just realized this thing has been glaring off, so you can't see my eyes that well. Sorry. But with the Green Bay Packers now moving forward, who do they go to? Who knows who's out there? A lot of rumors I've heard is Josh McDaniels. We'll see. I think they need offensive creativity. I also agree with a lot of what the NFL analysts are saying, that I think more pressure on Aaron Rodgers now to perform, because first they get rid of the head coach, then they get rid of the players. And they're saying that, well, maybe it's the players that need to be changed, not the head coach. And I'll give you a perspective on Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, and then I'll give you my personal thoughts about the organization as a whole, and then we'll leave for the night, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers moving forward is going to have to play at a higher level. I'm not saying this season. This season's long gone. 4-7-1. Probably no chance of making the playoffs at this point after their loss today. I don't think Mason Crosby is the reason why they lost. Yeah, they missed a field goal, but there was poor play all day. You don't throw the ball 50 times in a raining game and only run the ball, I think, 13 or 14. Aaron Jones is a great running back, but there needs to be a change at the running back position. And I'm saying that because this was all focused on Ty Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones is a great runner and great running back, but somehow it's just not working in the system. He has a couple of good games and flattens out. So, okay. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people are saying, well, Rodgers doesn't have a lot around him, this and that, this and that. But Favre didn't have a lot around him, and he still had great success in times like this. He threw a lot more interceptions. Rodgers has only thrown 1 pick this season. You would think this is an astronomical season. They would be up there with the Rams and the Saints. They are far from that. So, they're teetering on one of the worst in the league. I say the Raiders, and I think Green Bay is right there, because Green Bay has now lost to the Cardinals. They have lost to the Detroit Lions. And they are making their case to be one of the top 5 or 10 draft picks in the NFL in the upcoming draft, which isn't a bad thing in a sense, because I think this roster is talented right now. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to get any sympathy. I'm just telling you the state of the union of the Green Bay Packers. And right now it wasn't looking good. Now with the head coaching change, now we see maybe some freshness, the voice. 13 seasons as head coach. He had a great record. I think it was like 127, 70 something, and two, including playoffs. He had over 180 wins. Won the Super Bowl with him. Made 9 playoff appearances in 13 seasons, and it's a remarkable run. He is going to have a job if he wants one at the end of the season. Just somebody needing an offensive coordinator or a head coach. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, and I wish the best for him. I really do. Do I think this needed to happen? Yes. There needs to be a fresh voice in the locker room. A lot of times when you run over 10 years, 13 years, 15 years, it just becomes stagnant. You just need a fresher voice in there, and it runs its course. It just happens. The days of 30 years as a head coach in the NFL or any college, unless you're Nick Saban winning a national championship every year or something like that, it's just not going to work anymore, because this is a win now. What have you done for me lately? Kind of society and sports, marketing, revenue and money and everything like that. So I get why they make this decision. And with Aaron Rodgers moving forward, I say the pressure's going to be on him. Can he deliver now? He's the highest paid player in the NFL. He's got to start playing like it. Regardless of what happened with him and Mike McCarthy, the last couple of years have not been the best. Okay, he's gone, and if you still play like crap, I think it's time to cut the cord. It's time to move on from a quarterback, go younger. It's time to officially part ways. But do I agree with how they did it? Maybe not so much, because it kind of reminds me of what happened with Tony Dungy and the Bucks. He was the last to know about it. I mean, he was fired, but they put us on their website. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't really tell him. He had to find out the next day, kind of thing. This is not that type of a situation. This is very un-Green Bay-like to do it in the middle of the year, or with at least 4 games to go. And their upcoming schedule, if anybody wonders, is Atlanta, Chicago, the Jets, and the Lions. Maybe 3 wins out of that. I don't see them beating Chicago. Maybe not even Detroit. They could lose all 4. Who knows? But what I want is another win before the end of the season, just to get to 5. But we'll see. We don't know. But like right now, I think a lot of people have to look themselves in the mirror. Does Green Bay move on from Clay Matthews? I think they do. They're not going to pay him that much money to only have 2.5, 3, 4 sacks on the season. Great defensive player, but they got to go younger. Running back position has got to improve. Offensive line has been one of the best in the NFL, but right now they're not looking like it, and they need maybe they need a little help at receiver. Randall Cobb might be gone at the end of the year. They got a lot of rookies. Only Devontae Adams are relying on. I know Geronimo Allison's been hurt. Maybe they go out and get a receiver. But as of now, and the possibility now is, if you look at it as a whole, they might need a new kicker. So, and I love Mason Crosby to death, but this is just, when you have a season like this, a lot of that stuff that happens, it goes away when you're winning, but once you're losing, it puts it under a microscope a little bit. So just expect those kind of changes coming. So, like I said, I'll be a Packer fan till the day I die. And I hope, I'm not trying to get sympathy from anybody. I am wishing every NFL team in the world the best. We are probably like Oakland, probably one of the laughing stocks in the NFL right now. I appreciate the memes they're sending me, because I'm laughing with you, because I feel the exact same way. And I turn a negative into a positive and want to laugh about it. They are my team, but I know it can only it's going to get better. The team is always, the team is owned by the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and they will get better. And it might be time for a rebuild, but Rodgers turned 35 today. How much time does he have left? We'll know. We won't know. But thank you all so much. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe. And I will be out with a show on Tuesday. We'll talk about picks. We won't talk about any of this stuff. Unless something develops in the meantime, we'll just wait for Tuesday. But thank you so much for this Carl Show special edition. And we will be back Tuesday. Now, I think we might do Tuesday or Wednesday, now that I think about it. But we'll see. All right. Y'all have a blessed night or day, and talk to you guys later. Bye.